What's up guys, Josiah LaRue here. Today we're going to be talking about some of the latest news and technology. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about, is Bendgate real, Microsoft Windows 10, and the new GoPro Hero 4. Let's go! So if you've been following anything in the tech news, or even really in the mainstream media over the last week or week and a half, you've heard about hashtag Bendgate. So what is Bendgate? Well, if you have an iPhone 6 Plus and you stuck it in your back pocket, particularly in really tight jeans like skinny jeans, and then you sat on them, or even if you had it in your front pocket and you kind of sat down and flexed it, the iPhone would actually bend slightly. And for most people, bending your phone, unless it's like an LG Curve from the factory, is not something that you want to happen. So, is it real? Well, another fellow tech YouTuber, Lou from Unbox Therapy, you can check out his video here, actually showed that you could bend the iPhone 6 Plus. He bent it really hard, and it actually did bend, and then if you try bending it back, it is going to crack the screen. If you just bend it one way, it's going to be bent, but it still works. But after all this hype and him proving that it could be done, was it really a big thing? Well, according to Apple, only 9 verified people have come forward and said, yeah, our iPhones have been bent to a point where we don't want to use them or can't use them anymore. 9 people. This isn't really a big thing. Apple then came back and showed how they did stress test their own thing, not only with people actually using them on a day-to-day basis, but also with the machine and applying pressure. Then someone else came back and showed that it is still possible, despite what Apple said, but only at a certain point. It's where the antenna band meets underneath the camera and next to the volume buttons. It's the one point where the stress tensile is so high that if enough pressure is applied, it can bend. But again, it's only when it's in really tight jeans or when you're applying an incredible amount of force to it. So overall, it's not really that big of a deal. It's also only been happening on select iPhones. Not every iPhone is the same, because each one is individually carved out of metal, and some metals have a little bit higher strength than others do. So, Bendgate, is it real? Is it something that should prevent you from buying an iPhone 6 Plus? No, by all means not. If you want to be extra sure that this thing never bends, stick it in a case. I know that's going to, detract a little bit from how slim these phones are, but sticking it in a case, that hardens it right up and it will not bend at all. If not, just don't wear skinny jeans and then stick it in your pocket. Because it is 5.5 inches long, there are going to be points at which the strength of the edges and the middle do not meet, and you're going to have weak points, particularly right around where those antenna bands come through, and they're plastic, not metal. So there is a little bit of point of weakness, but that's what happens when you make a phone so incredibly thin and big. So there's always going to be a little bit of trade-off. But is Bendgate real? No, it's not. It's not a huge thing, and it can't be done without an incredible amount of force. So go buy your iPhones in confidence. I know I'm probably going to be buying one by the end of the year, and yeah. And next we're going to be talking about Microsoft Windows 10. That's right, everybody thought the new operating system would be called Windows 9. I mean, it makes sense, right? We had XP, then Vista. No, okay, that doesn't make any sense. 7, then 8. Okay, that makes sense. And then 9, right? No. It's 10. Why? I think because Microsoft already had 9s, 95 and 98, and they didn't want to confuse it. Not that anybody really remembers 95 or 98 anymore, unless it's some of us older tech guys. But anyways, so yeah, it is called Windows 10. And so what's so special about it? Well, for the first time in a really long time, and I think this really has to do with their new CEO and leadership, Microsoft listened to its customers and actually tried to deliver what they wanted. People want the rock-solid stability of Windows 7 and the easy-to-use UI, along with the increased performance of Windows 8. They don't want Metro on a desktop. They don't want the modern interface on a desktop, being as Metro was copyrighted, so they had to rebrand everything as modern interface. So anyways, probably the biggest change that they made is the start menu. They now have 2 different versions that you can select. One, it kind of looks like an enlarged Windows 7 start menu, in that it has the traditional icons on the left hand side, but on the right hand side you can actually stick in live tiles. So you can kind of get the best of both worlds in live tiles displaying your content, but also the traditional and easy to navigate regular buttons on the start menu. But if you like the old Windows 8 style, where you have a touchscreen on a tablet or a touchscreen laptop or a phone or whatever, they also have the modern interface is still there for those who want that. So it really offers the ability to choose, something that they did not offer at all in Windows 8. They also are continuing with the increased performance of the Windows 8 core, along with other tweaks to make it better. So another new feature they talked about are virtual desktops. That's right, you can pull up a menu and create actual virtual desktops per each display. Mac OS X Spaces, anyone? I guess if you can't beat them, copy them. So they are offering virtual desktops, which I think is good, particularly for laptops. Having used a Mac laptop and a Mac Mini with only one screen, the ability to have virtual desktops and have several different desktops with different icons and different windows running all on just one screen is amazing. It increases productivity and allows you to really use one screen efficiently even if you don't have two. I've been using two for a really long time, I definitely recommend it. But if you can't, particularly on a laptop, you only have one screen, virtual desktops is the way to go. So I'm impressed to see that in there, and it'll be really nice to see in upcoming versions, and particularly on hardware that it can actually support it. So another cool thing. Microsoft really, I think, just came out and made a big deal about how they're changing the start menu, because I think that was the biggest thing. They didn't unveil a lot of features, but this operating system is not going to be released until mid to late of next year. They did release a developer preview, which I plan on downloading and actually installing and just trying out to see what are the new features about it, and I might make a video about it. But overall, I think it's a great step in the right direction. It shows Microsoft that you're actually listening to us, the customers, and at least trying to make an effort to do the right thing and to do something that people want. So, great job. I'm looking forward to seeing what other features Windows 10 has, and yeah, stay tuned for that. And finally, we're talking about the GoPro Hero 4. That's right, the next innovation to the GoPro Hero 3 Plus line is the GoPro Hero 4, and let me tell you, it's pretty amazing. Now, I personally am a GoPro user. That's actually what I'm recording on right now. If you check out my old video here, you can see that I unboxed one a couple months ago. And I really love mine. It's small, it's compact, it shoots 1080p video. You put it in its case and it's pretty much waterproof and destruction proof, unless you get it too close to a volcano. More on that later. So yeah, GoPro has come back and released their new version. These things are a little bit more expensive, but boy are they cool. So the GoPro Hero 4 actually finally shoots 4K at 30 FPS. Now the GoPro Hero 3 Plus Black Edition would shoot 4K, but only at 15 frames per second. So this is a full 30. This is regular frames per second rate, 4K. Now granted, you're probably going to want to stick in at least a 64 gig card if you want to shoot more than an hour or so, but 4K in a camera that has not increased its space size. That is amazing. They also worked on the battery so that shooting 4K does not make your battery go any faster than anything on the black or the silver of last year's edition. That is awesome. The Hero 4 Silver Edition was another interesting thing. They did not include 4K in that, but instead 2.7K at 30 frames per second. So it's half of 4K, but higher than 1080p. Also, it will shoot 1080p, 60 and 120 frames per second. But it has a built-in LCD display in the back. That's right, you don't have to add the add-on backpack screen like you did on the Hero 3 and before. It's built in, so you can actually do all the controls, the start, the pause, and see what it's recording in live right on the back of the screen. That's amazing. And it's not any bigger than the actual camera itself. It's built into the back, so you don't have to get an enlarged case. It fits in any of the Hero 4 or Hero 3 cases. Pretty awesome. They also released a new edition called the Hero, which is kind of the replacement of the White. It shoots 1080p at 30 FPS, and it takes 5 megapixel stills. But it's also interesting in that they built the waterproof housing into it. Like, it's just $130 for a camera that shoots 1080p, is waterproof to 30 meters, is kind of drop and shock proof. The only downside to it is the battery's built in. So unlike the GoPros where you can swap out batteries or whatever, you're going to have to take this back and charge it up. But for 130 bucks for an action cam, that really puts it competitive with any of the competitors who want to say that they have action cams but really don't have the reliability or the, track record that GoPro does. So I'm pretty impressed. As for the Hero 4 Black and Silver editions, The black is $500 and the silver is $400. So a little bit more than last year's edition, but still, you're getting a lot more hardware for it, so I can see why they charge the extra $100. But yeah, that's cool for something to look forward to, and particularly for guys like Devin Supentramp or other people who want high quality action shots, even like Michael Bay or whatever. Now he can actually shoot in native 4K, because that's the way the movies industry is going, on a GoPro that you can just stick somewhere and get an incredible action shot, and then if it gets destroyed, whatever. That is amazing. This is really revolutionizing the industry of taking video on the go in incredible spots. Now, what about a volcano? Well, GoPro actually allowed people to start testing these things before they actually went live, so that they could have, incredible action shots from these new things. This one guy took a DJ Phantom drone, which is $500 at the start. Then he took the 4K GoPro Hero 4 Black, strapped that onto it, and drove it up and looked down into a volcano. It was really incredible up until the point where the GoPro melted because of the heat. But yeah, that cool shot you can see here. So yeah, as I said, probably won't be buying one anytime soon, but these are really cool. They're innovating the industry, and I'm really impressed. Go GoPro. So yeah, guys, that's some of the latest news and technology for this week. Hope you enjoy the show. Let me know in the comment box down below, what do you think of Bendgate? Have you bent your iPhone 6 Plus, or do you know anyone who has, or do you think it's just some dramatized thing that the news media is capitalizing on? Also, what about Windows 10? Are you excited that now we're finally getting a real start menu? Let me know in the comment box down below. I love to read your comments. As always, guys, thanks for watching. You can check out last week's video over here, and you can check out what I talked about down here. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!